Early retirement has downsides you aren't prepared for. Look at the bags under my eyes right now. Do I look like I'm happy? I've been retired over 2 years, guys. When you've got a lot of time on your hands, you get deep into your own headspace. And when you're in that deep headspace, you go down some weird rabbit holes. And you start getting things like worry. You get a little bit of anxiety about the future. Will I have enough? What if my plan changes? What if I go from being okay with 2 kids to needing 6 kids? What if I go through a divorce? What if I want to travel somewhere? What if I meet someone and we want to start this extravagant business and I need extreme amounts of capital to do that? And what if the choices that I made to get me from where I am now will not get me to where I wanted to be? If I should have stayed on the other track and oh no, I made the wrong decision, I don't know. That's the sort of mindset that I get in. Straight up, for the first time I think in the YouTube community, we're going to talk more openly about some of the negative things associated with this FIRE movement with early retirement. Today's actually a bit of a down day for me. I've had a series of downfalls in this week that have sort of culminated into what is this video today. This is sort of my chance to vlog with you guys directly about some of the things that I've had to go through over the last 2 years since I quit my job and have been early retired now for a little over 2 years. Smash that like button and jump in the comments. If you're subscribed to my channel, by the way, I hope you are subscribed. If you're one of the 50,000 people or 100,000 people that have found my channel recently, please hit that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, hit that notification bell because I would love for you to get notified when I drop new videos. No, I don't have to go back to work. No, I haven't run out of money. In fact, this is mostly not going to be about the money as it is about the psychological aspects, the downsides that you sort of aren't prepared for, especially if you're a type A like I am, that it's a total shift from what you're used to, from being a high producer, a respected member of society. I think the big thing is identity crisis. Identity crisis is huge. It's one of the big things. We go from being respected consultants, business owners, accountants. Maybe you work in the oil field and that's how you identify, right? People know you as the roofer. They know you as the landscape guy. They know you as the pest control operator, the accountant. That's how you're branded. That's how you're known. And if you just quit your job and jump into early retirement and follow the FIRE movement, what you're going to find is that you no longer have the identity that you had before. It's before you could say to yourself, whenever someone asked you what you did for a living, you knew. You could say, hey, I'm the accountant. And they can put you into their archetype and say, that's what Mike's all about. He's the business consultant, or he's the real estate agent, or whatever it is that you did. It helped you identify with who you are. And you'll find you're lost in early retirement if you don't plan. And by the end of this video, I'm going to show you guys some of the strategies I've used to cope with a lot of these downsides I'm talking about, specifically around your health even. Believe it or not, studies have been shown that when people early retire, what you find is there's a steep, basically it sort of jumps, you either go one path or the other. What you either have is people early retire and their health extremely improves, or they early retire and their health falls off. They have really bad health decline. And that's for a few reasons. One is the lack of social identity and social issues associated with early retiring. You spent a good portion of your life in the working world. Your friends were in your business. Your friends were also kind of tied in with everything you did. And those people now work 8 to 5 and you don't work 8 to 5. So when you want to go hang out or go golfing, they aren't there to hang out with you or to go hiking or to go golfing. So you have to sort of separate yourself from your old friends because you're doing different things than they are and your time schedule looks totally different than theirs does. And so you have to cope with that free time, which is almost the second pain point I would argue, is that this free time is a double-edged sword. On one sense, you're craving that free time in early retirement. Many of us are chasing that freedom, but that freedom actually doesn't solve your problems. You think that early retirement is going to be this silver bullet. It's going to be, trips to, Bora Bora and Costa Rica and all around the world, from Russia to China and Brazil and all the way back. But in reality, it's not the silver bullet. It doesn't make you happy. It gives you a whole bunch of time. If you are unhappy and dissatisfied before you quit your job, more likely than not, you'll just have more time to sit and wallow in your unhappiness. You will not have purpose. Early retirement itself is not a purpose. It is not a hobby. It is not something that will drive you and give you, the intersection of what you're good at, what you're meant to be doing, and what is like that purpose, right? It's not going to be that. It's going to, early retirement will help you facilitate that, but it will not solve those problems for you. And it does not make you happy. In fact, there are some stories I can share specifically myself where maybe you go from working 8 to 6 and commuting and all the other chores in life, you go from not spending any time with your kids or your spouse to all of a sudden being home all the time. And if your spouse retires with you, all of a sudden you might have spouse overload. You might have kid overload. You might have too much spouse in your life, and you're not used to spending 80 hours a week with this person. You have to learn how to adapt and change in this behavior. And people have actually early retired and went the way of Triple M. You know, Mr. May Mustache had a divorce, right? Everyone's talked about this on social media. You've probably known about it for a few months. You know, maybe that was, early retirement might have been one of the things that exacerbated that problem. Early retirement can make some of your issues worse, not better. And so a lot of people who have problems, a lot of us, myself included, who are dissatisfied in our lives, part of it was the job. Part of it was we weren't getting fulfillment from the job. Part of it might have been some other things in our life that were going on. But just by reaching financial independence, your problems aren't just solved. People, they get this goal, they work really hard for a lot of years. Because don't get me wrong, if you are retiring in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s even, it took a lot of hard work to get there. You had to be very diligent in how you saved. You had to be very strategic with how you planned your life, right? And so I think the things that got you there, those things that grind, right? When you finally get to that goal, you say, okay, I've made it to this ultimate goal, now what? There's that feeling of now what? And it's a real downside, it's a real problem. I was extremely motivated by financial independence, and now I'm buying a property or two a week and I'm building this awesome company. But sometimes I wonder, and not every day, most days I'm really happy, by the way, guys, and this video is not how I feel all the time, but sometimes you get this feeling that, maybe you didn't make the right decision, that maybe you should still be in the corporate world. Maybe you should still be out there working. And the beautiful thing about early retirement is it's not like you're fixed, you can't go back. You could always go back and get a job. You could always open a business or start an entrepreneurial venture to find that thing that you're after, and that's what I'm doing. But I'm saying that it's one of those things you have to think about and realize that it's not going to be the solution to your problem. It's not going to solve those deeper seated issues. And in fact, when you're busy, you don't have to think about those issues that are underlying your life. But when you've got a lot of time on your hands, you get deep into your own headspace. And when you're in that deep, deep headspace, you go down some weird rabbit holes. And you start getting things like, I know I do, where you get worry, you get a little bit of anxiety about the future. Will I have enough? What if my plan changes? What if I go from, being okay with 2 kids to needing 6 kids? What if I go through a divorce? What if, I want to travel somewhere? What if I meet someone and we want to start this extravagant business and I need extreme amounts of capital to do that? And what if the choices that I made to get me from, where I am now will not get me to where I wanted to be? If I should have stayed on the other track and, oh no, I made the wrong decision. I don't know. That's the sort of mindset that I get in at times. And I've just got to stop myself and rewind and say, Mike, you're blessed. Like straight up, I know I'm blessed, and I know that early retirement's an amazing thing. The fact that I have passive income coming in that's like double or triple what I need to live currently with my current lifestyle, I know I'm blessed with that. And having a couple $1 million, a lot of people are going to go on here and say in the comments, I know they're going to jump in and say, bull crap. Mike's living the good life. He's early retired. He's a multi-millionaire. He should be happy. Money itself doesn't create happiness. Time, just freedom of time, doesn't make you happy. I think that, some of the things, this is why multimillionaires and billionaires even are dissatisfied with their lives, because early retirement itself, that freedom of time, all of that money that comes with it that you work so hard to get, it doesn't solve your issues. You may still have identity crises. You may still have those neuroses, those mindset issues that you need to get past. You might still have, you might be stuck in your own head like I am. And those are some real negative things you have to sort of combat. And it's really easy to get stuck in the, going to sleep at 4 a.m., eating a lot of Haagen-Dazs, binging Netflix and gaming, and getting into this mindset of it's really unhealthy, where there's no reason to wake up, where you don't have that motivation to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning and, commute to work. That purpose, that reason to get up and stay on a consistent schedule, which is, by the way, studies have shown extremely good for the human body. We should be on routine. Humans thrive in routine. And without any structure, without any routine in early retirement, your life could collapse. And it's a real danger. So I want to talk, I think, in this video about some of those things, about that lack of challenge, lack of purpose, lack of, I don't know. I want to end this positively though. You know, at the end of the day, this video was meant to be sort of an eye-opener for those people who are working towards early retirement. I want to tell you this isn't the be-all end-all. I thought it was, honestly. 24-year-old Mike, when I quit my job and I jumped into financial independence, I thought I'm 4% safe withdrawal rate. You know, I'm all good. I've checked all of the boxes. I've grinded 100-hour weeks to get here. I've pulled the parachute. I'm out and it's like, oh, I lose my breath. Now what? Now I'm free falling towards the ground. What do I do with my life? What is my purpose? What am I meant to be doing? And I thought a piece of that, and I still think a piece of that is helping you guys with YouTube. I think, honestly, I'm meant to be giving back, and it does feel really good to do that. It's part of my plan for MAP, for my mastery, autonomy, and purpose, the intersection of what I'm meant to be doing on this planet. But it's tough. People treat you differently when you're early retired. When I identify people at a party, I was at a party the other day, a networking event, and I said, hey, I'm Mike, I'm early retired. You get like one of three sort of responses. The first one is jealousy. You get a lot of jealousy. People who are grinding in their jobs, who are paycheck to paycheck, they can't understand early retirement. They're just like, you're met with a wall of like jealousy. They're just angry at you. And that anger and that hate prevents you from having a meaningful connection with that person. The second one is that it's sort of weird, it's unconventional. Who is this kid in his 20s or 30s, or even if you're in your 40s that's retired? It's not normal. People don't know how to react to that. So they just label it as weird. Like, this guy is weird, he's strange, he's unique, I don't know how to handle that. And the third way that I think a lot of people react is he's an unproductive leech. He isn't working and contributing to society. He isn't in the normal mold of society. He's not paying taxes. He's not carrying his fair share. And because he's an unproductive leech, how do I get value from him? So at networking events, a lot of people go out there not with the mission to make friends, which is how I go to network. I go to make friends with people. That's what I think good networking is. You should not be out to extract value from people. Go out to meet people who you might want to have in your network, and forget about the value. The value will come. If you throw value out there to good people who are your friends, you'll get value back. But the unproductive leech really resonates with a third, I think, networking persona type that's after the value. That person sees you as an unproductive leech. They say, how can this person add value to my life? Well, he's retired. He's not an accountant. He can't help me with my taxes. Oh, he isn't a real estate agent. He can't help me buy a house. He's retired, so he can't add any value to my life. He's just doing his thing. That's selfish. He's a leech. So there's that third categorization. So it's sort of like the jealous type, the unconventional weirdo type categorization, or the unproductive leech is very common at the early retirement kind of labeling. And so I had to kind of come up with, hey, I'm a real estate investor. That's how I start. Just because it's so weird to say, hey, I'm Canada's youngest early retiree. People don't want to hear that. They can't process it. It really just garners negative attention is what I found in most situations. So I don't ever lead with that. And you may have that struggle yourselves. If you're early retired, people are going to think they're going to put you in one of those archetypes. There may be that one person who's just genuinely happy for you and who's also there to network, to be friends. And in those cases, you're not going to be thrown into one of those three categorizations I just threw out for you. But it's a real challenge, and it's something that I've been facing, especially in the elite business world, where there are multimillionaires who have these extravagant lives, right? And they look down on the early retirement FIRE movement because they see it as lazy and unproductive. They see consumption as good. I see consumption as unnecessary, right? And so our differences in opinion can often drive wedges between us. And it's hard socially, we're social human beings, social butterflies, to deal with that. I think if you're an extrovert, if you're extroverted by nature, you'll have a much harder time in early retirement than if you're introverted. Thankfully, I'm fairly introverted, so I've been able to cope. But for those people who are extroverted, we're going to need to take heed of one of my next videos, which is going to be about strategies to cope for a lot of these things. And I've talked about it on my Wise Wealth show. We're 30-something episodes into the Wise Wealth show. And in all those episodes, I've sprinkled in things like finding that thing you're meant to be doing in your retirement, joining hobbies, creating social bonds and structure. That helps. The structure is what is needed in early retirement. It's just, you can create the structure. You can build that structure that will help you sort of find meaning in your life and find happiness and joy. Because like I said, there's a lot of things I think that are dragging you down. There's a lot of downsides to early retirement that people don't factor in. So let's get into the good pieces here. I'm just going to give you a couple of good pieces before I end this video, end on the positive, right? If you've been able to unlock early retirement, I don't care who you are, the traits, the personality, and the skills, right? Those skills that got you here, got you to this point, got you towards early retirement, those skills, those traits, they are the same skills you're going to need to ensure you can cope in early retirement. So What got you here is going to get you the rest of the way. I already know if you found this movement, you've moved towards early retirement, you've figured out this frugality, and you've figured out how to spend less, how to earn some more money, and how to invest your returns, you're already there. You already have the predisposed skills to make it through this and to solve these problems. You just have to spend some time to think through them. What do you want to be doing? What does a day look like? What does a week look like? A month look like? A year look like? The best news is that you can pivot. That's the beautiful thing. We can be flexible human beings and change. If you're not happy in your current place, if you've reached early retirement and you find you are completely dissatisfied, make a change. And some of those things are like joining, like I said, joining hobby groups, pick up a sport, join some local groups. That's why over 2 years ago, we founded London on Fire. And it's a growing movement around people who are also interested in the FIRE movement. It's why I have my Facebook group, Fired Up Finance. Same thing. It's there to support. You need that emotional, social support. Early retirement can go, like I said, one of two ways. It can be extremely beneficial. It can be the best thing you ever did. Or if if you're more of an extrovert and you've been in your career 10 or 15 years and you identify as the accountant, it might be a drastic shift for you. And it might shut down a lot of the things that made you you. And you have to be ready to open those new doors and take those steps forward. And so that's what this video is about, is making those changes in your life to prepare for early retirement. And I look forward to talking to you guys in the next video. Let me know in the comments. I want to be able to help you guys. People keep reaching out to me. They're like, Mike, can you please do coaching with me? I'll pay you $100 US an hour to talk to you. I want you to come out for the Wise Wealth Show. And I want to have a conversation with you on the Wise Wealth Show. I'll ask and answer any of your questions for free. Because I'm a frugal guy, I'm finally starting to think about how I can architect something that aligns with my values. So for instance, people want me to create courses. I might create a free course. I'm thinking about creating a few free courses where it's donation-based only. Pay based on how much value you received from it. If you check the course out, found no value, pay me nothing. If you wanted to share my videos around and say thanks that way, do that too. Maybe you want to say, hey, this course was worth $1,000 to me. I'll pay you $1,000 for it. That's cool too. I don't want to ask for it. I just feel like people who are selling courses, it's a slippery slope, and I don't want to go down that slope. It's just not for me. So I'm thinking about doing that. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see me do that. That means you've been watching this video all the way through and you've enjoyed the content. I would love to hear about if you would get value from me making some courses on how you could be super frugal and spend less than half of your income to get you to early retirement. If you want me to make a course on what it is like, or maybe I could create a TV show like, for instance, Life for Sale, where I document what it's like to be a multimillionaire in London, Ontario, Canada. Let us know if that's something that would add value for you guys. Maybe I could do something like that where I give you a day in the life. Maybe there's key lessons I could share that would help you. You tell me how you want to receive the content that I have to share with the world. I have some gifts to share. I'm not the smartest, I'm not the best at anything, but I've got some nuggets in there that I think would benefit the world. And I just got to find the best way to share those with everyone and add the most value. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you're finding your way to early retirement, because it is an awesome lifestyle. At the end of the day, it is the freedom to choose how you live your life. I think early retirement is like the oil in your engine. With a good, nice oil in your engine can run very smoothly. Your life can be very great, but without it, it's very hard to have a good life. I think without that freedom of time and freedom of choice and having a bit of that money to lubricate the wheels of your life, it can be tough. So I do advocate for early retirement for everyone to have that freedom. And as always, you guys know my catchphrase, 150 videos now. The secret to unlocking a wealthier you is to spend less, earn more, and maximize your returns in that order. And then the inverse, once you've built up that wealth, it's about maximizing your returns, earning more, and then spending less becomes the least important because you've already made most of the improvements you can, and it's diminishing returns on the spending less category. So depends on where you're at in your spectrum, but for most people watching, spend less, earn more, and maximize your returns. And I look forward to seeing you all in the comments. Please jump in those comments. It means a lot to me if you share these videos, and if you've made it all the way to the end, click through to one of my recommended videos at the end of this video, and that will help YouTube realize that my content is something worth promoting. And so I greatly appreciate that. It's the same reason that I have ads on my channel, not for money for me, but so that YouTube will make some money and then therefore hopefully promote my content to other people, right? It's a business at the end of the day, and if I grease the wheels of YouTube, they will then also be enticed and incentivized to promote the content and let people watch my videos. So hopefully that helps and it's added some value to your life. Happy Saturday, everyone.